Okay, listen to me. If I were running a class, a trading class, not a class on investing like I do, trading class, I'd start by warning you to curb your impatience during earnings season, by which I mean stop relying on the instant headlines that are often computer-generated and therefore frequently off the mark. Case in point, Microsoft. That's a $2 trillion company that everyone has heard of. But somehow the headlines we saw after the close were dead wrong. Now, if you can't rely on the headlines for something this iconic, how can you rely on them for anything else? As is always the case, Microsoft released a dry statement about how it's doing. That's the actual earnings report, in keeping with their typical bare-bones style. They even did throw in an outline of deeper critique of the world and how Microsoft's addressing huge global problems. But finally, as the conference call went on, they told us what they're doing and will do in the tasks at hand. That's been Microsoft's style ever since Amy Hood became the chief financial officer in 2013. I feel like I've known Amy forever because she was a heavy hitter at Goldman Sachs in the previous century. She's meticulous, she's rigorous, and she doesn't suffer fools gladly, thank heavens. Amy orchestrates her conference call part, because Satya Nadella starts it, her part so perfectly, so consistently, that you know when you get to about the half-hour mark, she's going to tell you how things are really going in all of Microsoft's key divisions. And then she will tell you what's going to happen in the future. Yes, she gives you the forecast. It's the guts of the conference call. And for any stock junkie like me, it's riveting because when a company puts up flawless results over and over, any miss on any line will be regarded as a huge and perhaps negative surprise. Once again, though, that didn't happen. Instead, we got great commentary, and I think she was giving analysts the green light to raise their estimates, in part because their Azure cloud business is on fire. Raise it to the point where it could actually accelerate later this year. Is that really so hard to get your head around? Well, apparently it is, because initially, right after the bell, before that conference call began, we got a host of headlines, not from the company, but from the reporters, some of them computer-generated, about how Microsoft's growth was slowing. And the epicenter of that slowdown was none other than the cloud business. Yep, Azure. The engine that's driven the last 100 points of the stock's run had supposedly run out of gas, according to the headlines, which meant that Microsoft had to be sold 9 ways to Sunday, which it was. These stories made you feel like this would be another Netflix-level catastrophe. So, if you look at the chart, you'll see this gigantic dip down, all right, right here. This is all after-hours trading before, right here, is the release comes out, and these are people who are relying, and there was also an analyst report that came out instantly. It was also wrong. So all of this happened while people were waiting for Amy to speak. And then, boom, she speaks right there. She speaks the truth, and a pirouette emerges. This was a senseless decline, and it cost people like you fortunes, and it's my job to stop that. How do you protect it? How to protect against these harebrained moves? Simple. You have to do the work. I call it the craft, actually, and recognize that nobody will have any idea how Microsoft's doing until you get to the part in the conference call where Amy Hood gives you the guidance. That's what the professors were all waiting for. That's how they knew to come in. That's how they picked off the losers. It's why the stock came right back up after the initial headline-induced pullback. Investing is hard enough when you've got to figure out if the company has met or failed to meet expectations for the quarter. Why make it even harder for yourself by relying on premature stories that contain out-of-context or outright wrong information, especially when those stories are often written by a computer to beat the other computer-generated stories, even if they are not correct? Just do yourself a favor. Stop relying on this nonsense and wait to hear the darn conference call. I like to say there's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to try to find it just for you, right here on Mad Money. I'm Jim Cramer. See you tomorrow. The news with Shepard Smith starts now.